Hello, my fellow Nigerians. Here, what one of Imo's son is telling the president, so that we know what is going on in Imo State under Hope Uzodinma's watch, for the president to hear and see or call for Imo governor, so that we be on the watch. A call for Mr. President's intervention before Imo slides into a state of anarchy. I am constrained to write this open letter to you, Mr. President. I decided to make it an open letter because the issues are very weighty and they must be greatly worrisome to all concerned Nigerians, especially to those of us from Imo State. Mr. President, with a deep sense of humility, I am seeking your gracious and timely intervention to save the people of Imo State from brutal annihilation by the Imo State corrupt absentee governor, Senator Hope Uzodinma, the governor of Imo State, who was sworn in to protect lives and properties of Imo people, but ended up becoming the modern Antichrist King Ahab, who institutionalized Baalism, which was completely divorced from Yahwism, claims that he is above the law because he has immunity to waste Imo State physical resources as he deems fit. It's a tragedy. The 5 years reign of Hope Uzodinma suffer has brought untold insecurity, hardship, agony, pain, deprivation, and poverty on the land of Imo State. Our children and youths are dying due to hardship, rulership of Uzodinma. The peace-loving people of Imo State have been seriously battered and plied by the caustic and corrosive government of Hope Uzodinma. Since Uzodinma took his first oath of office on the 15th of January 2020, Imo State has witnessed rampant killing of citizens, which have become a rule, not an exception. He has marketed the All Progressive Congress Party in Imo State through severe administrative wickedness. First, he dismantled every established instrument of governance in the state and bequeathed to himself as the only source of power, sole administration in the whole state, and carries himself like an ancient Roman emperor. Unfortunately, Imo citizens have become his plebeians. Every sector in Imo State has collapsed. The governor has shut down everywhere, put the state under lock and keys, and went back to Abuja, where he resides, and continues his profligacy lifestyle. He visited once every 2 or 3 months just to show appearance and renew his presence, or to host a seminar where he lectures his displaced citizens, ironically, on good governance. Prior to the burial of the president of Ohaneze Ndigbo, Chief Engineer Emmanuel Iwanyanwu of the blessed memory, on the 1st of November 2024, the Imo State governor had already spent 48 days outside Imo State. He returned to Imo on the very day Chief Engineer Iwanyanwu was being buried. He left immediately after the burial the next day and proceeded to Egypt as Imo Pharaoh, where he spent 1 week trying to con and facilitate a loan of $1,500,000,000 from Afrexim Bank, which has not been granted because of lack of due process on the part of the governor. If by any accident Afrexim Bank grants the loan, Governor Uzodinma will definitely waste the loan on his personal inordinate political ambition, phantom projects, and personal lifestyle upkeep. He was trying to circumvent the laws of Nigeria, where the National Assembly is empowered to approve foreign loans for federal government and states. Mr. President, I'm writing about a governor who inaugurated his ESCO cabinet for over a year ago, but has never held any executive council meeting with them. He purportedly forged ESCO memo approvals for projects of his personal interest. In fact, most of his commissioners and advisors, including other senior aides, have relocated out of Imo State because there is no responsibility assigned to them. The Imo House of Assembly, which he personally handpicked, almost the 27th member, are completely paralyzed. He changes the leadership of the Imo House of Assembly every year on whimsical reasons. He suspends any member that raises any issue concerning Imo people's interests on the floor of the House without his approval. As I write this open letter, 3 members of the Imo State House of Assembly, Ahiazo, Oru West, and the Okigwe State constituency, are still on suspension for whimsical and unjustifiable reasons. Only motions that seek to promote and sing praises of the emperor governor are allowed by the speaker. Every other business of the day must obtain gubernatorial approval from his Abuja residence before it is tabled at the plenary. The governor does not tolerate any dissenting voice from Imo citizens against him. He uses every available covert method to deal ruthlessly with any position or disloyalty against him. In a brutish and undemocratic manner, nobody from Imo State enters presidential villa without his approval. If you try it, it is at your own peril. Anybody that achieves such feat without him becomes his mortal enemy. He has virtually blocked all political appointments coming to Imo State that didn't pass through him. He supplies mediocre individuals for federal appointments, a deliberate sabotage against the federal government progress. There are so many examples, Mr. President, but the one that captured the attention of Imo people was the zoning of APC zonal national organizing secretary to Southeast and was further micro-zoned to Imo State. But Governor Uzodinma used his offices and relocated that party position to another zone, precisely to Southwest. The governor doesn't waste time in humiliating anyone who dares him. Before the death of Chief Engineer Iwanyanwu, the President General of Ohanaeze Ndigbo, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Benjamin Kalu, graciously took Chief Engineer Emmanuel Iwanyanwu to see Mr. President. Since that incident occurred, Governor Uzodinma developed so much resentment on the deputy speaker and surreptitiously stated treating him as a mortal enemy. What was the deputy speaker's offense? The only offense was that he took Uzodinma to see Mr. President. Sadly, at the burial ceremony, the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives showed up at the church service before the interment. The governor of Imo State allegedly instructed his protocol officers to ignore the deputy speaker of the Federal House of Representatives. There was no respect, no recognition, and he was not allowed to speak. In Igbo culture, the action of the governor is disrespectful to both the dead and the living, and ironically, it took place in the church service. Only an antichrist could bring a simple political issue in the presence of parishioners, and God unforgiving and unrepentantly. The governor was there enjoying the fun and stamped his seal of approval as the highest political office holder. From Southeast, the gentleman, deputy speaker of House of Representatives, was being publicly embarrassed. In addition, people see that not only as a disrespect to the legislative arm of government, but a calculated and bridled effort to ignore constituted authority from the federal level. The governor did not stop at the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker. He meted the same treatment to Governors Alex Oti of Abia State and Mba of Enugu State. However, one of the reasons for pulling down the protocol against those visiting governors was because he didn't want to face public humiliation, booing of his people, which has become a normal occurrence each time he appears in the public, and coupled to the fact that those two governors are the best performing governors in the Southeast. Mentioning their names alone would have shaken the foundation of that church in admiration. So he never allowed them to speak. Mr. President may wish to put the governor of Imo State on notice not to repeat such a degrading malfeasance again. Mr. President, this is what is going on. The governor of Imo State has succeeded in crowning down respectable sons and daughters of Imo State. My people, this is what is going on in the Imo State. Now, I'm bringing this to the president's notice. In the comment section, you are free to say your opinion. Comment, share, love, like, subscribe to this channel. God bless Nigeria. God bless Imo State. Thanks and God bless. Amen.